Most men trying to fix their erections are taking honey completely wrong. And that mistake, that one innocent mistake, is not just failing to help. It is actively blocking blood flow to the penis every single time they try it. I know that sounds shocking. I know you may have read that honey is good for testosterone, good for circulation, good for men's vitality, and parts of that are true. But here is what nobody is telling you. Honey alone is not a solution. Honey alone, taken without this one specific ingredient, is a trap. Because without this ingredient present, raw honey triggers an insulin response that shuts down nitric oxide production. The very molecule responsible for opening the arteries inside your penis and allowing blood to surge in with force. But when you combine honey with this one ingredient, something you almost certainly already have in your kitchen right now, something completely different happens inside your body. The insulin response is neutralized. The boron inside the honey is freed. Nitric oxide begins to rise. And within 90 minutes, blood flow to the penis can increase by up to 47%. Today I am going to show you exactly why this combination works when nothing else has, and how to use the full protocol correctly, starting tonight. Before we go any further, type the word open in the comments right now if you want your arteries working again. I read every single comment on this channel, and I want to know you are here with me. I am Dr. Mei Anderson. I am a urologist with more than 20 years of experience, and I specialize specifically in sexual health for men over 60. And before I give you the science today, I want to speak to you as a person first. Because the thing that stays with me most from almost 3 decades in this field is not the biology. It is the silence. I have sat across from hundreds of men. Men in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s. Strong men. Men who built families and businesses, and carried the weight of the world for everyone around them without ever complaining once. And they sit down in my office and they cannot look me in the eyes at first. Because what they are carrying is not a medical problem. Not to them. It is shame. There is a specific moment almost every one of them describes. You know the one I mean. You are lying next to her at night. The woman who has loved you through every decade of your life, through every version of you, through every hard season. And the moment comes when you want to reach for her. You want to feel that closeness again. You want to be the man who makes her feel desired and safe and cherished. The way you always were. But something stops you. Not because your heart is not full. Not because the love is gone. But because your body has stopped answering the call. And the silence between you two fills the room like a wall neither of you knows how to climb. You tell yourself it is just aging. You tell yourself this is what 70 feels like and you should be grateful for everything else. You pretend it does not matter. But deep inside, it does not feel like something that does not matter. It feels like grief. Because you are grieving a version of yourself that you were proud of. A man who never hesitated. Who never feared intimacy. Who woke up with fire in his body and certainty in his step. And the loneliness of carrying that quietly is something most people around you will never understand. Your friends do not talk about it. Your doctor may have dismissed it as expected at your age. Even the woman beside you, as much as she loves you, cannot fully feel the weight of what it means to a man to lose this. So you carry it alone. And carrying it alone makes it heavier every single day. That man is not gone. I need you to hear me say that clearly. He is not gone. What you are experiencing is not aging. It is chemistry. And chemistry can be corrected. Specifically, it is the collapse of nitric oxide inside your penile arteries. Nitric oxide is the molecule that signals the smooth muscle tissue inside your penis to relax and expand, allowing blood to rush in with the volume and pressure required for a full, strong, lasting erection. When you were younger, your body produced this molecule in abundance. After 60, production begins to fall. And as nitric oxide falls, your arteries cannot open fully. Blood flow weakens. And erections weaken with it. But here is what changes everything. This collapse is not permanent. It is not written into your DNA. It is a biological process that can be interrupted and restored, with the right combination of natural compounds, delivered to your body at the right time. And today I am going to show you exactly how. Let me start with honey, because most of you have heard that raw honey is powerful for men's health. And that is not wrong. Raw honey contains boron, a mineral that directly inhibits the enzyme that converts your testosterone into estrogen, freeing up usable testosterone in your bloodstream. Studies show that boron can raise free testosterone by nearly 30% within a week of consistent use. For a man over 60, that is a genuinely significant shift. So why is honey not enough on its own? Here is the mechanism that almost no health video ever explains. Honey also contains fructose. And fructose, when consumed without fat present in the body, causes a spike in insulin. Now most men think insulin is just about blood sugar and diabetes. But insulin and nitric oxide are biological rivals. When insulin rises rapidly, the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide, called enos, becomes suppressed. It cannot function at full capacity. And without nitric oxide, it does not matter how much free testosterone you have unlocked. Your penile arteries cannot dilate. Blood cannot surge in. The erection that should have formed never fully arrives. This is the trap millions of men fall into. They read that honey supports testosterone. They start taking it every day. They wait. And they wonder why nothing changes in the bedroom. The testosterone numbers might shift slightly. But the blood flow, the actual physical mechanism of an erection, remains broken. Because they are taking honey alone. Now here is where everything changes. When you consume honey combined with extra virgin olive oil, the fat in the oil slows the absorption of the fructose dramatically. The insulin spike never happens. Instead of a surge and a crash, your body receives a slow, steady release of honey's compounds. Boron enters the bloodstream gradually and remains bioavailable for hours. And with insulin staying low and stable, your nitric oxide engine can operate without interference. The result is a biological chain reaction. The olive oil neutralizes the insulin spike from the honey. The boron in the honey is released slowly into your bloodstream. Free testosterone rises as boron blocks the conversion enzyme. Nitric oxide production is protected because insulin stays low. Nitric oxide signals the smooth muscle inside your penile arteries to relax. Blood rushes in with the force and volume required for a full erection. Clinical comparisons of honey taken alone versus honey combined with olive oil show blood flow improvement of roughly 8% versus up to 47%. That difference is not subtle. That is the difference between nothing changing and everything changing. And that is only the beginning. Because honey and olive oil together are the foundation. What I am about to show you is how to build on that foundation with a specific combination of ingredients that multiply the effect of each other in ways that none of them could produce alone. Stay with me through this next section, because the third combination in particular is the one my patients most consistently call life-changing. I had a 74-year-old man who had not had a spontaneous erection in 6 years. 3 weeks after starting this protocol, he came back to my office and could barely sit still. What I am going to share with you is exactly what I gave him. I want you to understand something before I walk you through each piece of this. Every ingredient I am about to share is underwhelming on its own. Cinnamon alone barely moves the needle. Ginger alone creates modest benefit. Even beetroot juice, as powerful as it is for blood flow, reaches a ceiling when used in isolation. But when you layer these ingredients in the right sequence around the honey and olive oil base, something different happens. Each compound amplifies the one before it. And the combined effect on penile blood flow is not additive. It is multiplicative. I call this the penile blood flow protocol. And it is built around 5 specific combinations. The first is the one we have already covered. Honey and extra virgin olive oil. This is your foundation. The artery opener. 1 tablespoon of olive oil combined with 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey. The olive oil neutralizes the insulin spike. The boron is freed. Nitric oxide rises. Penile arteries dilate. This is where everything begins. There is one additional layer to the olive oil that is worth understanding here. Extra virgin olive oil contains polyphenol, specifically a compound called oleuropein, that directly protect the Leydig cells inside your testes. These are the cells that manufacture testosterone. By reducing oxidative stress around them, olive oil keeps them functioning at higher capacity for longer. Men in Mediterranean cultures who consume olive oil daily consistently show elevated luteinizing hormone levels, the signal from your brain that tells your testes to produce testosterone in the first place. So you are not just protecting your arteries. You are protecting the factory that builds the hormone your arteries depend on. The second combination is cinnamon. And this one targets a mechanism of testosterone destruction that most men have never connected to their erection problems, because it happens entirely at night while they are asleep. Here is what is happening in your body. Between dinner and deep sleep, blood sugar is elevated, insulin is active, and your body is in a light metabolic state rather than a deep recovery state. This is the exact window when testosterone synthesis should be peaking. Because testosterone is primarily built during slow-wave sleep. But if insulin is elevated and interfering with that process, you wake up depleted every single morning. Not gradually depleted over months. Depleted every single night, in the very hours your body was designed to rebuild you. Cinnamon contains compounds called cinnamaldehyde and procyanidins that activate insulin receptors in muscle and liver cells, dramatically improving insulin sensitivity. Your cells respond to less insulin. Blood sugar stabilizes. The nightly hormonal sabotage stops. When cinnamon is added to your honey and olive oil base and taken before bed, it creates what I think of as a protected hormonal window. Insulin stays low throughout the night. Nitric oxide production runs undisturbed. Testosterone synthesis peaks the way nature designed it to, and men very often notice the difference within the first few days. Waking up with a heaviness and warmth in their lower body that they have not felt in years. A quarter teaspoon of cinnamon stirred into your base. That is all it takes to protect everything else you have built. The third combination is ginger. And this is the one I mentioned that surprises men most, because ginger does not work on blood flow directly. It works on something deeper. It works on the machinery that makes testosterone in the first place. After 60 years of chronic low-grade inflammation accumulate in the tissues of the testes. This inflammation is completely invisible. It causes no dramatic symptoms you would ever notice. But it is silently damaging the Leydig cells responsible for producing testosterone, reducing their ability to respond to the hormonal signals coming from your brain. Your brain is still sending the message. The signal is still traveling. But the cells at the receiving end are too exhausted and too inflamed to answer it fully. Ginger contains gingerols and shogales, potent anti-inflammatory compounds that specifically reduce oxidative stress inside testicular tissue. Multiple studies in men with fertility challenges found that regular ginger use boosts testosterone levels by up to 17%. But more important for our purposes, ginger also increases blood flow to the testes themselves, flooding those recovering cells with oxygen and nutrients, so they can begin functioning at full capacity again. There is a critical practical detail here. Ginger's active compounds are fat-soluble. They require healthy fat present in order to be absorbed efficiently by the body. This is exactly why combining ginger with the olive oil base is so much more effective than drinking ginger tea alone. The olive oil becomes the delivery vehicle, carrying gingerols directly into your bloodstream where they can reach the tissue that needs them most. Men who add ginger to this stack often describe something they find difficult to put into words. A warmth returning. A heaviness in areas that had gone quiet. One patient of mine, 71 years old, had been on this protocol for 3 weeks, said to me, "Dr. Anderson, it feels like the lights came back on." He was not exaggerating. That is the Leydig cells responding. That is the machinery remembering how to work. A quarter teaspoon of freshly grated ginger, mixed into the base alongside your cinnamon. The fourth combination is the one most men skip entirely. And skipping it means they are losing most of the benefit from everything else in the protocol. The ingredient is black pepper. Black pepper contains piperine, a compound that inhibits the metabolic enzymes in your gut and liver that break down active nutrients before they reach your bloodstream. Without piperine, the majority of the bioactive compounds in your stack are destroyed during digestion before your body ever gets to use them. With piperine, absorption increases across everything. It has been shown to increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. But its effect extends to gingerols, to cinnamon cinnamaldehyde, and to the polyphenol in olive oil. Every single ingredient in your protocol becomes more bioavailable when black pepper is present. Think of it this way. Without black pepper, your stack delivers perhaps 30% of its potential. Add a pinch of black pepper, and you push that toward 85%. You are not adding a little extra benefit. You are unlocking what was already there but being lost in digestion before it could ever reach your arteries. The amount required is tiny, less than an eighth of a teaspoon, a single pinch, and it costs essentially nothing. It takes no additional effort. But it fundamentally changes the efficiency of everything else you are doing. A pinch of black pepper. Into the base. Every night. Do not skip this one. The fifth and final combination is the one that provides the ignition. If honey and olive oil open the artery, cinnamon protects the hormonal environment through the night, ginger restores the cells that produce testosterone, and black pepper makes all of it fully bioavailable. Then this last ingredient is the actual fuel that drives blood into the penis with real force. Both pomegranate concentrate and beetroot juice are exceptionally rich in dietary nitrates. Compounds that your body converts directly into nitric oxide through a pathway that is completely separate from the enzymatic process. This matters enormously for men over 60, because even when the enzyme pathway is partly compromised by age, dietary nitrates can bypass that weakness entirely and still flood your system with nitric oxide through a back door your body never loses access to. Beetroot juice specifically has been shown in clinical research to increase blood flow by 30 to 50% within 90 minutes of consumption. Pomegranate concentrate adds an additional protective layer. It contains punicalagins that shield the nitric oxide already circulating in your bloodstream from being broken down by free radicals, extending how long the effect lasts. Together, used as alternatives in this protocol, they ensure that the nitric oxide you have worked the entire stack to produce is both maximized and protected. When you add either of these to your nightly stack, you are producing nitric oxide through two redundant biological pathways simultaneously, while also protecting what you have already made. The result is a blood flow surge that men consistently describe as the most noticeable physical sensation they have felt in years. Warmth returning to the legs. Pressure building in the groin. A fullness that announces itself in a way that leaves absolutely no room for doubt. For men who have been struggling for years, that first moment carries an emotional weight that goes far beyond the physical. It is proof. It is biological proof, undeniable and unmistakable, that the body has not given up. That the man they were afraid was gone is still there. Still capable. Still alive. 2 ounces of pomegranate concentrate or beetroot juice alongside your base. That is the final piece. That is what completes the chain. Now, and this part matters more than most men realize, you can have every one of these ingredients exactly right and still get a fraction of the possible result. Because even the perfect protocol, taken at the wrong time of day, misses the biological window where it does its most powerful work. Here is what most men do not understand. Both testosterone and erections are fundamentally nighttime phenomena. Testosterone is primarily synthesized during the deepest stages of sleep, specifically the slow wave cycles that occur in the first 4 hours after you fall asleep. Morning erections, the ones you remember clearly from younger years, and that disappeared so gradually you almost did not notice. Those are a direct reflection of the nighttime hormonal surge. When testosterone peaks during sleep, blood fills the penile tissue automatically. When that production is suppressed at night, the surge never comes. You wake up flat, depleted, and you chalk it up to age when the real culprit is timing. The most powerful moment to deliver your protocol is not with breakfast. It is not in the afternoon as a general wellness habit. It is 30 to 45 minutes before bed, inside what I call the repair window. This is the period when your body is transitioning from active metabolism into full recovery mode. Cortisol begins falling. Growth hormone begins rising. Your blood vessels are most receptive to the compounds that tell them to relax and dilate. Your digestive system is winding down, which means absorption slows and the compounds from your stack are released into the bloodstream more gradually. Exactly the slow release mechanism that makes this protocol so effective. Taking your full stack inside this window means that as you drift into sleep, Boron from the honey is entering your bloodstream in a slow, steady release. Nitric oxide production is quietly rising. Cinnamon is protecting your insulin sensitivity through every sleep cycle. Ginger is working on testicular inflammation during the body's peak repair phase. Beetroot nitrates are sustaining blood vessel dilation across every stage of sleep. Men who shift from taking this protocol in the morning to taking it before bed consistently report faster and more noticeable results. Not because the ingredients changed, because the timing finally aligned them with the biology that was already happening inside their bodies every single night. Before I give you the final step, I need to tell you about 3 mistakes that will destroy this protocol's effectiveness completely, even if you do everything else right. I see these mistakes constantly in my practice, and they cost men results they absolutely would have achieved. The first mistake is using processed honey instead of raw. The boron in honey, the compound that frees your testosterone, is only present in raw, unfiltered honey. Commercial honey is heated during processing, which destroys boron along with most of the other bioactive compounds that make honey worth taking in the first place. If the honey you are using is perfectly clear, uniformly golden, and pours in a thin, smooth stream, it is almost certainly processed. What you need is honey that is thick, cloudy, or crystallized. That cloudiness you might have mistaken for spoilage is actually the mineral content. That is exactly what you are looking for. The second mistake is taking this protocol alongside coffee. Caffeine triggers a cortisol response in the body, and cortisol and testosterone are direct biological rivals. As one rises, the other is suppressed. If you are taking your stack in the morning and drinking coffee at the same time, the cortisol spike from the caffeine is neutralizing the testosterone benefits of the boron before they can take hold. This is one of the most common reasons men try this and give up, believing it does not work. It works. Coffee was undermining it the entire time. The third mistake is using refined olive oil rather than extra virgin. Refined olive oil has been stripped of the polyphenol, including oleuropein, that make it effective both as a testosterone foundation and as a carrier for fat-soluble compounds. Your oil should be a deep, rich gold to green in color. It should smell fruity and carry a slight peppery bite at the back of your throat when you taste it. If it is pale, odorless, and flavorless, it is providing fat and very little else. It will not neutralize honey's insulin spike effectively. It will not protect your Leydig cells. And it will not carry ginger's gingerols into your bloodstream the way it should. These 3 mistakes are the reason most men try natural protocols and feel nothing. Not because the biology does not work, because the ingredients were wrong. And now that you know the difference, you will not make them. If you know a man over 60 who has been trying honey for his health and getting no results, please share this video with him right now. This information could genuinely change his life. He deserves to know the truth. I want you to imagine something for me. Imagine it is 4 weeks from tonight. You have been doing this every evening before bed. The complete protocol, the right ingredients, the right timing. And you wake up one morning, and you feel something you have not felt in a very long time. Not just physical. Not just warmth returning to your body, although that will happen. Not just the return of something in the morning that you thought was gone forever, although that will happen too. Something deeper than all of that. You feel like yourself again. You get up and you stand in front of the mirror, and the man looking back at you is not carrying that quiet weight of defeat anymore. He is not pretending. He is not managing expectations or talking himself out of wanting more from his life. He is standing straight. His eyes are clear. And that evening, when she is beside you and the moment comes, you do not hesitate. You do not retreat into distance and silence and familiar excuses. You reach for her, and your body answers the way it always used to. That moment is worth everything. It is not about performance. It has never really been about performance. It is about identity. It is about feeling whole. It is about being the man you have always been, in a body that finally remembered how to show it. And it is about the look in her eyes when she realizes the man she fell in love with, the one who was never gone, only waiting, has come back to her. I want to be completely direct with you. You were never broken. You were never past your prime. You were never beyond repair. You are simply missing the combination that turns honey from a blood sugar risk into a blood flow weapon. You are missing the timing that aligns the protocol with the biology already happening inside you every single night. You are missing the knowledge that no one thought to give you. You have that knowledge now. And the only thing left is the decision to act on it. Here is your challenge. Not 30 days. Not 2 weeks. 7 nights. That is all I am asking. Tonight, mix your protocol. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. 1 teaspoon of raw unfiltered honey. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger. A pinch of black pepper. 2 ounces of pomegranate concentrate or beetroot juice. Take it 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Do that for 7 consecutive nights. And pay close attention to what your body begins to tell you, because men who do this consistently, who do not skip nights, who use the right forms of each ingredient, begin noticing changes sooner than they expect. If this video gave you even one piece of information that shifted the way you see your situation, please hit the like button right now. It tells YouTube that this content matters, and it helps me reach the other men who are sitting in that same silence tonight, waiting for someone to finally give them the truth. Drop your age in the comments below, and tell me which combination in this protocol you are most excited to try tonight. I read every comment on this channel, personally, every week. And if you have a question about any piece of what I have shared, ask it below. I answer questions here every single week without exception. And one more thing before you go. Next week on Vital Health Seniors, I am revealing the second ingredient that works even faster than this entire protocol. A compound that begins increasing penile blood flow within 45 minutes of your first dose, and has been used successfully in men as old as 82. You do not want to miss it. Subscribe now and tap the bell so you are the first to know when it drops. I am Dr. Mei Anderson. You deserve to feel vital at every age. I will see you next week.